guys. I might have done a thing. I got really tired of it being dim in here with those old LED lights that had a delay when you turned them on. So I installed hyperlighting. These are 2 of the 22 grid kits, just to give you an idea. I'll leave a link in the description for them. They're real easy to install. And I installed them, instead of using the plastic anchors, I installed them with these zippets, which I'll also leave a link in the description for if you're interested in doing this. But this is not what you came to the channel for. You came for the video on the updates of Abel. So what am I working on right now? Well, I'm doing some final touch-ups on the front grille, the air filter cover. I'm waiting for the stencils for that. I got the light bar installed, redid some of the wiring here and cleaned it up. Did a bunch of touch-ups. There was a huge run in this door, I believe, and I just took a plastic, God, I don't even know what you call it, maybe like a body panel tool, one of these guys, and I pushed off. I just used it to scrape off the gummy run lines, and then I used a sanding block and sanded it down, and then just used the mini roller and went over it, and it turned out awesome. There was a couple other spots too, like back here, this door had, or this box had a bunch of runs in it right there. I fixed that. I did some touch-ups on the mirrors. That mirror right there, was it that one? No, it was the one on the passenger side. It didn't get painted on the face. Remember, these the trim on these used to be like black, so I went ahead and fixed that. There was a run in the door here. I fixed that. Same thing on this side. There was a run in this door. I fixed that. So yeah, I've been doing quite a bit of stuff. Oh, I did this too. Now it's probably glued shut. No, it works. So I got both sides of this door as well. This stuff is super glassy once it hardens. Kind of neat. I'm really happy with how this turned out. It's supposed to start raining here for the next 2 or 3 days. So I wanted to get as much of this done. I still have not gotten in there and done the inside of the frame rails. I'm going to have to do that at some point. Maybe today if I have time. But here's something that I wanted to show you guys. I'm going to attempt to get these installed today. These are engine mount blocks, and you can get them on eBay. I'll leave a link in the description. These are NOS, right? So these have been sitting on the shelf since 2013 somewhere. I don't know if it makes a difference or not. It's probably going to be better than the 30-year-old ones that are in there. There's a couple of methods to do this as far as me doing research on how to get these installed. I think I've come up with an idea that might be simplified, kind of a hybrid of the two. Some guys use a floor jack and a pipe to lift up the engine mount arms, and some guys use a cherry picker. Well, if you use a cherry picker, you got to take the tire off, right? Because it's in the way of the cherry picker doing its thing. I think I figured out a way to do it without having to take the tire off, but I'm going to try that this morning and share that with you guys. So this is very basic. There's just 3 bolts. There's one that goes down the center and 2 on the sides that hold it together. They're just in a, I don't know if I can even show you where they're at here, if you can see it. Let's see. They're right up there. So they're in kind of a weird spot to try to get to. but I'm going to give it my best effort. So basically what you have to do is take the tilt the cab, obviously, and then take the top fan shroud off to give yourself a little bit of clearance, and then slide the cherry picker in there and hook the front of the motor, the lifting point on the front of the motor, and lift that baby up. But you got to unbolt everything down here first. So keep your fingers out of the pinch zone unless you want to lose them, along with your arm and hands and all that fun stuff. Anyhow, we're gonna get started on this, and I'll just give you updates along the way. So here's the problem with the cherry picker. You are not getting it past that 49-inch wheel and tire combo, but I think I have a solution to that. So this is certainly better. I used a couple of 6x6 or 8x8 blocks. I believe I'm gonna have to turn the steering wheel to get it to line up where I need to, which isn't a big deal, but I won't know until I get the cab up and start looking at things here. So here's the solution I came up with. I had to use a 4x6 on top of 6x6s on this side, and then I just used 6x6s on this side, and it's just barely enough to get in there and hook that pick point on the front of the engine. If I had a bigger cherry picker, it would have been a lot easier. Is it perfect? No. Will it work? Probably. We're gonna find out. Here we go. Well, the cherry picker idea I had is out the door. The angle is just too extreme to be able to pick the engine up. The cherry picker starts to tilt, so it's just too far of a reach for it, and I don't want to take the wheel off. I'm lazy. I'm gonna try something else, and I'll show you what it is. Alright, I had a piece of rec tube left over from my snowcat build. So I wedged it up against the engine mount and started jacking it up, and you could see it's already starting to fall apart. The bolt fell through. So it is working. I have to undo this other side first, probably to get more lift out of it. But yeah, I think this is going to be the way to go. Okay, that method worked pretty decent. As you can see here, we're starting to have metal-to-metal contact. The sleeve is what's supposed to sit down in this rubber bushing here and not rub against anything. So, yeah. And this thing is stretched and wobbled out to one side, as you can see. I think I'm gonna put some new hardware on here. I might run to the hardware store and grab some new hardware, unless I can find some here. But yeah, moving right along. This is the passenger side one, so we'll keep moving forward here. Okay, I went to Ace, and for about 20 bucks I picked up some new hardware. I had to change the grade. I don't know what grade this is, but as you can see, this one's bent. That's the original one. These are 10.9, and these ones have a nylon lock nut, or a nylock, and then these ones have Kep's nuts that lock. So yeah, and I had to get these just a slightly bit longer because they didn't have 4 of the original size, but they'll still work. There's plenty of room on that side of them. So anyhow, let's start getting these bolted back in. Here's the driver's side one. It's starting to separate, and it's got a big crack in it. However, the bushing doesn't look too bad. It's just starting to scrape the paint on it. It's not all wowed out like this other one. So yeah, let's get the new ones installed. All right, see I got them in and I've left everything loose. So that's the one thing that I recommend, is you get the blocks up there with the little tiny bolts and nuts started, and then make sure that this is starting to go through the rubber, this bolt. And then when you drop the jack down, you may have to raise it and lower it a few times for the engine to go back into its normal position, but you'll hear a clunk. That means that this bolt has gone through these brackets here. So I've got everything lined up. I've just got to tighten everything down now. And that should be it. These are not fun to get to. If you have a creeper that's got an adjustable backrest on it, it might be a little bit easier, but if you just have a standard creeper like I do, it is not fun at all. But I think that's probably gonna be it for this episode, guys. I think now that I have the cab tilted up and it's not raining yet, I'm gonna get this masked off and painted, because I love painting. But other than that, I hope you guys are staying safe, taking care of each other, and as always, I will catch you next time. See you later. Bye-bye.